Okay guys, I'm going to be showing you how I do a sublimation tumbler. So the first thing I did was I made my design in Canva, and then I downloaded the images I needed. So what I'm going to do is it's pages 4 and 5 of the design I did. So I'm going to hit extract all. I have a special folder on my desktop specifically for my sublimation images. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my desktop, sublimation designs, and then I'm going to hit new folder, and I'm going to just title it Disney because it's a Disney castle with somebody's name. Open it up and go ahead and select folder. So we're going to show extracted files when complete. And I'm just unzipping that file. So when you open it up, oh look, you can see my reflection. You can see that I have no background because I asked Canva to download it with a transparent background. Sometimes when they're white, it doesn't match the white of the cup, and that could make the color look off. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to edit. And then now you can see the full design. I'm going to mirror my design or flip it horizontally. Save options, and then I always save it as a copy, so I have both copies for myself. I'm going to find my folder. I'm sure there was an easier way to do that, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to put mirrored and then the name. Or whatever you want to title it, it's up to you. Okay. And now this is another design I just did. We're going to take all of these together. Same thing. Edit. Mirror. Save as copy. Mirrored and then Lori. Okay. So now that I have it open, what I'm going to do is I just hit Control P. It's going to bring you to your printer. My printer's name is Gel Sprinter. Once it decides to load. So my design is right there. I'm not going to touch anything because it's approximately what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit print, and I'm going to cut down the design after I measure my tumbler. And then this one is the one that says Beth. I just clicked over down here. Control P since that was printing. I'm super low on ink. I really hope I have enough for all of these. Okay, Beth. And then we're going to go ahead and print. Okay, these are done, so I'm going to go ahead and close them out just to save some space on my computer. And okay. Okay, so now that all of my items have been printed, I went ahead and got all of my tools together. This is a different brand of cup. This is not the Small Shop Girl. This is another Amazon. It's a bundle that I've gotten before, and I really liked these cups. I just went ahead and grabbed it again because I knew I had a bunch of cups I needed to make. They come pre-packaged with little boxes. I absolutely love that. They also have a little rubber stopper that goes on the bottom and this cute little bow to put on the box. Gonna put our lid over here. So this is the cup. The first thing I do is take my tape measure, and we're going to measure the cup just to be safe. So I always start in the middle, and I know there's actually like tape measures you can buy that are a circle, and then you can just swoop it back, and you should you'll have your cup size. So this cup size. So this is 9.5, and it's the little notch, and then the notch before that, I don't know what measurement that is, but that's where I'm at. So that's how wide I need it. And then so it's gonna be 8 inches high. I'll probably cut it just a little bit shorter than that, just so we don't get over the edges. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my cutter. This is the cutter I like. It's by Fiskars. I've replaced the blade on it. It's really held up over the years. I absolutely love this cutter. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't give me straight pages, but it's usually not too huge of an issue. Let me see. my desk is kind of small. I got tons of crafts I'm working on at the same time. I don't know if you can hear my Cricut going. It's actually on the floor under my desk. Okay, so we'll work on Beth's first. So this one's not going to have much of a seam, honestly, because it's a white background. So I'll go ahead, and I know we said 9. It wasn't the half. Was it before or after? Oh Lord, now I can't remember. I knew I should have written that down. So remember, it's before. Okay, so it's not as big of a deal on this one because it's a white tumbler with no background on this. But if you were doing one that was a full color background, like we're going to be doing in just a second, you would want a super precise measurement. So I'm going to go right underneath it. So, oh no, look. Okay, it was cutting into my design. So this is what we're going to do. I want this to be the edge instead of that being my edge. So we'll go ahead and cut this off. And now we'll make this. We'll just flip it this way. Yes, this way. Sometimes I have to think about it. Okay, right underneath, so that way my edges should meet. Okay, and then it was exactly 8 high, and I really kind of want, let's see how high we are. Should be 8.5. Okay, so essentially we're going to be taking off 1/4 inch of each side. Would that be here? I don't want it too high or too low. Let's see, if I cut it off here, it's going to leave all that space at the top. I want it, let me do this. Let me just cut, oop, oop, my mat's done. Hit me in the foot. Okay, let's do this. Let's just do like that. Because I think that's 1/4 inch. Sometimes I'm kind of lawless when it comes to my cutting. I'm just like, oh, it'll be fine. And then it just swap. Okay. Okay, perfect. So this is our template. Now you can see that I made my template big. I didn't like actually size this template out. You are more than welcome to make your actual template, the one you print, the exact size of your cup. That's what some people do. This is what I do. It just depends on the design for me, honestly. So next, this is my cup, this is my design. I always take just one small piece of my heat tape and I put it on my edge right here, just so I have like a kind of hold it for me spot. Okay, and we're just gonna tape just like that. And then, oh, I don't even know if you saw that. All right, it's gonna tape just like that. And then we're gonna tape down here. Like that. You don't want to cross over the top. You don't want to cross over the top, and you don't really want this at the bottom. So I probably could have shaved, I even said I was going to shave it down a little bit less than 8, and I didn't. Okay, so I'm just doing a test sample on how wide it is. Apparently my measurement, I did a little bit underneath and I should have done a little bit more. It's not a big deal again because I don't have a color background. If I did have a color background, that white stripe would be visible. So that's something you really need to watch for. You can honestly do like a, you could even get like some construction paper from the Dollar Tree if you want to test cut, like test cut templates to see if they're gonna be the right size that you need. That would be a really good idea if that's something you wanted to do. All right, so now I'm just making sure everything is straight. I'm gonna retape this, and then to get your template on, you really want it as tight as you possibly can go. And then you're gonna tape again. This is where having a tape dispenser super duper duper comes in handy, because you can just very quickly get your tape. Before I had a tape dispenser, I was literally cutting like strings of tape and then like cutting little bitty pieces of tape. It was a whole mess and a half. Okay, so you can see how there's air, that like how this is kind of flabby, that air isn't going to allow this to fully seal. It's honestly one of the reasons I want to heat press for my cups, but it's also a good reason, it's a good thing for shrink wrap. This brand actually does come with shrink wrap in it. So I might actually use those because these are for an order for my mom for some Christmas gifts. Hopefully they don't watch my channel. Don't think they do. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do hyperspeed to show you how I tape my seams down. Okay, so that hyperspeed video is going to be super short and super quick for you to watch, but I just wanted to go over the last couple of pieces. So what I do is I just take a piece that's wider than my seam, I press it down in the middle, and I just press it down tight, just making sure that that seam is really just pressed into that cup. And then halfway through, I remembered that I had this thing, and I was like, that would make life so much easier. So I swapped and added it. But it only takes me like a little over a minute. The taping of your cup is one of the most important parts of sublimating, in my opinion. Okay, so I did hyperspeed for the majority of taping the top of this. Taping the bottom is going to look exactly the same. I'm not going to show you that twice. But essentially what I do is I take and I push my tape from the bottom and then I pull tight to get a good seal. So this is going to be our full color wrap. So the first thing I like to do is take off this white border. That automatically gets placed on there. And just cut off these little white borders. When they're full sheets like this, I tend to like to let them dry a little bit before I start cutting, because I find my cutter the blade will rip the paper while I'm cutting, and it just kind of makes for a jaggedy edge. And I'm not a huge fan of that. It just makes, you know, everything harder. All right. You can also cut from the back if you're measuring, and it makes it a little bit easier too. Then you don't hit the wet ink. But I also just swapped out my blade too, so that might help. Okay, so we said we needed across. It was a little over 9. I'm gonna do, would 9 1/4 work? Let's see. Okay. So cutting right here should make the absolute perfect width. So we're just gonna do that. And so this is gonna be the image on the actual cup itself. And then let's go for height. And we know the cups are 8 inches high. I'm gonna go just a little line underneath it, just to give myself, and then we can flip over and make sure it's still cute. Wait. That's not the right side. Ooh, I would have been so upset with myself. I was like, that's a lot I'm cutting off. Let me relook at that. Okay. I'm not cutting anything weird off. Okay. All right. And this should make it the perfect height. So next thing we're gonna do, we have our cup, and then make sure your image is facing the correct way. So owls up. We'll just place it together and see there's a little tiny bit of overage, which means there would be a seam. I might go back in and trim. Let's see. Because I don't mind a seam. I don't want, it's going to leave a ghosted seam if I leave it like this. So let me see. Yeah, it's definitely going to leave a ghosted seam. I'm trying to make sure that the top and bottom are even as well, because it looks like it's not gonna, see, it's like curving a tiny bit, and it aggravates me. I don't want to cut it on an angle and ruin it and waste all this ink, because ink is expensive. I just ordered 4 brand new cartridges for my printer, and it was like $200. Okay. Alright, so I might trim it just a tiny bit, because you can see it's starting to do that curve down here, and I do not want the curve. The curve usually ends up meaning that it's going to do a little bit of ghosting. So since I have it like this, I am going to take just a little marker, and I'm just going to do a tiny little line like that. So I know that's where I want the seam to be, so I'm going to cut right in front of it. And that marker is not going to show through when you sublimate, because it's not the right type of ink. Okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and do this. I don't need to measure this. I just need to do the other side. Should do the other side. Yes, I just want a little tiny bit off. Oh, look, and it doesn't even look like it was straight. Oh no, it's straight. Okay. Just a little tiny bit off. Maybe a tiny bit more. There we go. That way it just doesn't bundle up, like bunch up at the bottom. And then I have my purple line, and remember we said the purple line, I do want to see it, so I'm going to cut right in front of it. Right in front of it, Erin. Oh my goodness, Erin. Thank you. Just a little tiny bit. There's an old saying, measure twice, cut once. So one thing you can also do, which I've done before too, I completely forgot about this, is instead of just taping like your border or your edges, like your seam, you can tape this as well. It also helps with a tighter wrap. Go ahead and grab my stand. Look, there's something underneath here. So just check your design, make sure there's nothing on your design and nothing on your cup, because anything in between it will not let the design press. So that is a perfect match. I can go ahead, I'm gonna pick this up because it's not 100% straight. Remember, you have to pull it really, really tight too. You really want a good seal on it. You want all of the air and space completely out. So what I did was I pulled it as tight as I possibly could, maneuvered, pulled. I have it taped up here just to give me some, you know, making sure it stays before I finish fully taping. Another one right here. There is a very, very, very tiny overlap, and that is completely okay. Because there's 99% of the time you're going to have a seam. It's just going to happen. Even if your picture meets, like, even if your template fully meets, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was pulling it to me so far. Even if your template fully meets each other, there's still, you know, going to be a line. Just depends on how much of a line you have. Okay, so now that I've got this tightly wrapped, I'm gonna go ahead and take, oh, nope, nope. Like Aaliyah says, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. You can dust it off and try again, try again. Okay. Okay, so my favorite way to do these is to pull from the side that's slightly over the other side and pull like that. That way you know that this edge is being nicely pressed. Like that. Even if I've already taped, I'm gonna go, because I don't know if you could see that, but it literally has room to go down. That tape was just a placeholder. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I use my hair dryer that I got years ago when I tried to go to hair school. How we're going to be using the hair dryer to shrink wrap our cups. So these cups that I ordered come with shrink wrap. There's glitter everywhere. They come with shrink wrap. So I just kind of place it towards the middle. You can see there's here and here. And then it's probably going to get loud, and I'm really sorry. I don't know if I can turn the volume off. But anyway, so I have it on the highest heat setting. And I just hold it like pretty close to it. You can see how it's starting to melt the plastic. That's all you're doing is melting the plastic. The heat also kind of primes the design a little bit for you. Priming is where you just heat up the paper to make the ink ready to dye into it. Essentially like you're preheating your oven. So as you can see, it's starting to shrink and suction to the cup. I highly recommend wearing a heat glove. I completely forgot, and I was like, man, my hand, oop, that's the wrong hand. I was like, darn, my hand is hot. That would be because we don't have on our heat glove. So these are grilling gloves. They're way too big for me. See, that's just loose. I mean, the middle finger fits. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because You don't need dexterity at this point. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish this on hyper speed, and I'm going to do all 3 of them in a row. That way you can see them and it's not so loud. Okay, so now it's time to go ahead and bake these cups. I've showed this in another video before, so I'm not going to bore you with it again, but essentially you're just going to take your tumbler, you're going to have your preheated convection oven, little mini one, not the one you cook your food in, because there's vapors that come out, and you're just going to do it for 6 minutes, and I usually turn it like 3 different times. So Alexa, set a timer for 2 minutes. I'm going to flip it at every 2 minutes. I just kind of roll it over. That's why I have my glovey on. And then I'm going to take it off, put it back on top of my convection oven, and then I'm just going to let it cool down before I take everything off. But I'll do the peeling and everything on video with you guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's have our it's like an unboxing moment almost. Okay, so first things first, this one is nice and cooled down. I can touch it with my hands, so I'm going to go ahead and peel it. It has this little perforated thing. I've never been able to use it on these tumblers. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's the tumblers. I really need something to throw all that down, because that's just going to bother me. I don't have an empty box. I mean, I do, but they're huge. Okay, anyway. So this is like the main reason I hate shrink wrap, is it just comes off in little chunks and it aggravates me. And sometimes, but I don't know, sometimes the tape does that too, so I guess it really doesn't. I use less tape when I use shrink wrap, so. Alright. Because like if I don't use shrink wrap, I literally like wrap the cup in tape. See, it's like a perforated edge, but it doesn't like peel down. So aggravating. I know some people do this while it's hot. I don't know. I like to let it cool down because I feel like it just gives the image more time to soak in. T-shirts I will take off hot because it's a lot quicker. You can just peel it up. And you also have the worry of the image moving. That's a, you know, and then you get shadowing and stuff. So if it's not like fully taped down. So before I even take it off the heat press, I just peel that sucker off. Come on. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay, there we go. All right. So now I just like to kind of peel down where my seam is. It's just the easiest spot for me, because I know this is where, you know, the majority of tape's on the bottom, but I mean in the top, but all of that pretty much comes off with it. Some people will also do a double print on their designs, like they print and then they put the paper back in and they print the design a second time. I've never tried that. I feel like my images come out dark enough that I don't really need to. This is so stinking cute. Sorry if that was loud. I'm excited. Look how gorgeous. This is a design I did buy off of Etsy. I'll put the link to the design down below. That way you can go support this creator and this artist in her work. Oh my goodness, stop. Only difference it would have made is maybe moving this over a little bit more, but other than that, like, I'm in love. I am obsessed. Oh my gosh, she is going to love this. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, let's move all this to the side. The second cup like that is still cooling down. It's still warm. I'm not going to touch it. This is the Harry Potter tumbler I made. Look. Ow. It's kind of sharp. All right, let's see if I can... Maybe if I take... Where's my knife? Maybe if I take my knife and I just very gently... I don't want to cut too deep because I don't want to touch the paper. I don't want to cut the cup. This design I found on Google, I think. I just searched Harry Potter wallpapers and it popped up. Oh, okay, that worked. A lot easier. Come here. I have that Aaliyah song in my head. If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. You can dust it off and try again, try again. Just trying to make a snow globe glitter tumbler, and that'll be in another video. And the first one I did was a complete fail. So I was singing that in the other, I was, quoting that in the other video. Now it's stuck in my head because I can't just sit and do one project at a time. I actually have 3 other projects on my agenda, 4, maybe 5 other projects on my agenda today, but not all of those are videos. Okay, well that worked. That was a little bit easier. Okay, anyway, let's get it. This one I'm like excited and nervous about because this is the dark Harry Potter all over wrap. I'm scared. I'm scared. Y'all look with me. Oh my goodness, how beautiful so far. No, wait, that's Jurassic Park. I can't think of Harry Potter theme song. What the heck's the Harry Potter theme song? All that's coming to mind is the Jurassic Park song. And then the no, that's Jurassic Park 2. I don't know. I can't think of it. Look how my only mistake is right here. This didn't line up perfectly. But you can see how no matter what, you're always going to have a seam. You're just always going to have a seam, no matter what. Even if it's the same color and it's like a solid color, 99% of the time you're going to have a seam unless you're like super, super good. I probably could have gone up a little bit more up here, but I'm not too worried about that. With a lid, let me find a lid. Let's see how that looks with a lid. Why is there no lid in that box? Let's see how she looks with a lid. Yeah, it's just like, like the lid, like just the top lip. I'm in love. This is actually an order. Somebody requested Harry Potter images, and I just looked some up on Google. This is one of them. She loved it, so that's the one she went with. Perfect. I gotta call her and tell her her order's ready. Okay. Last but not least, this other cup. The inside's warm, but the outside's cool, so we're good. All right, let's do this again. That was super easy. Do that. Y'all do that from now on. I'll do that from now on too, but mostly y'all. I'm just not really here to learn from me. You're here to just watch me, huh? I don't know. Maybe a little bit of it. Yeah. Okay, maybe the new guide is gonna be down and then over, so we can just, okay, that's, she's so beautiful. And here we have it, our finished product. These Amazon cups come with boxes, sleeves, and a cute little ribbon to tie it all up in. Great for Christmas presents, or even, you know, to put on tables or to give out with your orders. I absolutely love these. They came out completely super vibrant and just absolutely gorgeous. I'll post the link below for everything that I used in this video, including these cups. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me today. Please remember to like and subscribe and share with all of your friends so they can come join in the chaos as well. Bye.